All right, this is cause number CCL 19D 559, uh, Kim Royal and Derwin E. Royal. Mr. Alverson, you may
Yes,
proceed.
Your Honor, we are here and ready. Whenever the court wants us to go forward, I have the petitioner and the respondent here, and we've got an agreed divorce.
You may call your first witness.
I call Ms. Kim Royal.
Ms. Royal, can you hear and see me okay? I'm Judge Dowd.
Yes, I hear you
Okay.
fine.
I'll need you to speak out just as you're doing, raise your hand and be sworn. And do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes, I do.
You may lower your hand. Counsel, you may proceed.
Would you state your name for the court?
Kim Teresa Royal?
And Ms. Royal, you are presently married to Derwin E. Royal, is that correct?
Yes,
And were you a resident of Texas and of Cass County for the preceding 6-month period to the filing of this divorce?
yes,
And has your marriage to Mr. Royal become insupportable due to a conflict or discord of personalities that has destroyed the legitimate ends of that marriage relationship?
yes, correct.
Is there any chance of reconciliation?
No,
And were you two married on or about November 7th, 1994?
yes,
And did you cease to live together as husband and wife on or around November 2nd of 2019?
yes,
Were there any children born to this marriage?
no,
Okay. And have you and Mr. Royal reached an agreement in regards to your community property and debts?
yes,
And under that agreement, you have a marital home, is that correct?
yes,
And that home is located at 114 County Road 2850 in Naples, Texas.
correct.
And you two have agreed to continue to co-own that piece of property, is that correct?
Correct.
And the agreement is that you'll continue to co-own that until you decide to either sell it and split the profit or deed it to a family member, something of that nature.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And you were to receive any jewelry, clothing, retirement, sums of cash that are in your possession. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you're also to receive the 2017 Chevy Silverado.
Yes.
And he is to receive any jewelry, clothing, retirement, sums of cash that are in his possession.
Yes.
And he is to receive the 2000 Chevrolet Silverado. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. When it comes to the debts, you and Mr. Royal have agreed. Y'all are actually still living in the same home together. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
And you actually have custody of some grandchildren. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so y'all are going to continue to live in that home together.
Mhm.
And he's going to continue to pay the bills in that home. Is that correct?
Correct.
And he's going to continue to provide health care and dental care for you. Is that correct?
Yes.
And do you believe that that's a fair and equitable division of y'all's community property?
I do.
And while that's a not normal arrangement, based on the fact that y'all have custody of these grandchildren, that's what y'all are doing for the best interest of your grandchildren.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. And are you asking the court to approve that agreement that you and Mr. Royal have reached in regards to your community property and debts?
Yes.
And are you also asking the court to change your last name back to that of Bell, Bell?
Yes.
Are you asking the court to grant you a divorce here today and approve the community property and debt division that you've agreed upon and grant your divorce and name change?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
I have none. You may call your next witness.
I'll call Mr. Royal.
Mr. Royal, will you also raise your hand and be sworn, please? Do you swear or affirm your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may lower your hand.
Would you state your name for the court?
Derwin E. Royal.
And Mr. Royal, you've been present in my office while I've been asking Miss Royal questions, and you can hear all of my questions and all of her answers.
Yes, sir.
And if I asked you those exact same questions, would you give the exact same answers to those
Yes, sir.
questions? And are you asking the court to approve the divorce and approve the community property and debt division that we proposed to the court?
Yes, sir.
And are you asking the court to grant that divorce here today?
Yes, sir.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. First of all, the divorce is granted. Court finds there are no children born or adopted from the marriage and that there are none expected. Court also finds per the testimony of both parties that they have entered into a property settlement agreement, which appears to be just, fair, and equitable. It is now approved and is incorporated as the judgment of the court in this cause. Mrs. Royal's request for change of name to that of Bell is also granted, and I'll sign those orders when I receive them.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I've got a signed decree that I'll e-file here in just a minute when we're done.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. Royal are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the next one I would like to take up is in the interest of TDK.
All right,
And Miss Kennedy is in the waiting room, I believe, and I'll go get my clients in the front.
it's for the record, CCL 21C 145.
All right, Jesse, if you'll get a seat there. Denise, if you'll come up here in the hot seat.
All right, will you please, you may call your first witness, and then I'll ask the witness to raise her hand and be sworn.
Your Honor, I believe the biological mother is in the waiting room, Miss Jessica Kennedy.
Oh, is she?
Yes, sir. She filed an answer and then called my office this morning to get the Zoom information. It's my understanding she was waiting.
Okay, let me see if she's there. Yes, she is there. Okay, let me let her in. Is she on a computer there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Kennedy, can you see me and hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm Judge Dowd. And can you also see Mr. Albertson and his clients?
Sir,
And you also see Mr. Albertson and his clients?
I could just see you.
Okay.
She's probably, Your Honor, she's probably got it on speaker view, so unless I'm talking, she's not going to see me.
I can see you now.
Okay. Do you have a mouse, Ms. Kennedy? Something that you can move the cursor around with?
I'm just using my phone right now.
On your phone? Okay. Are you at home?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And you're representing yourself in this matter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Albertson, go ahead and give me an overview of what this case is about.
Your Honor, this is a situation where this court had issued an order before in a divorce decree between Bobby and Jessica Kennedy in regards to a child at that time with the initials of TDK. Mr. Kennedy recently passed away, and so CPS placed that child with my clients, Denise and Jesse Williams. And we are here seeking custody of that child, with Miss Kennedy retaining the rights she had in the previous order from the court. And I believe she's in agreement with that, Your Honor. She filed an answer and said that she was in agreement with that. And so that's what we're here to do today, is just try to prove that up, and for school purposes and everything like that, get somebody in charge of this young man so that everybody knows who's supposed to be doing what with this child.
Okay, Ms. Kennedy, did you hear everything Mr. Albertson just said?
Yes, sir. I wanted to see if I could have visitation and pay, go ahead and start paying child support. I just got a job less than a month ago. Fern Avenue in Shreveport, if that's possible, and let her go ahead and watch over the child as long as I get visitation, if that's fine.
Mr. Albertson, you want to speak to that?
Well, Your Honor, we're willing to do a all times agreeable between the parties and up to the child. This young man is old enough to know what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. And we're not opposed to Miss Kennedy seeing the child as long as that's something that everybody can agree on. Um, and so we're willing to do that if that's what she's asking for, is an all times agreeable between the parties. And then it's been a little while, so we'd like that to be supervised until they kind of build their relationship up and go from there, if Miss Kennedy's willing to do that.
That's
He-
fine.
I'm trying to recall, he's 11 or 12 or
14.
14,
14, Your Honor.
even older. Okay. Well, are you agreeable with that, Ms. Kennedy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So you are in agreement with the petitioners being appointed as what we call managing conservator of the child at this time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Alverson, you may call your first witness.
I'll call Miss Denise Williams, Your Honor. Raise your right hand.
Raise your hand and be sworn, Ms. Williams. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
May lower your hand and may proceed, Mr. Alverson.
Would you state your name for the court?
Denise Williams.
And Miss Williams, you are presently married to Jesse Williams, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And he's here in the background of this photo, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we are here today in the interest of TDK, a child, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that young man is your nephew, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And his father, Bobby Kennedy, just recently passed away, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And he had primary sole managing conservatorship of this child through a previous court order, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the mother is Miss Jessica Kennedy, who's appeared here in court today, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you asking basically to take Bobby's place in the court order? You're asking that you and your husband be appointed as the sole managing conservators, with Miss Kennedy being appointed a possessory conservator of this young man. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're asking the court to allow her to see the child at all times agreeable between you and she and the child, and that would be supervised by you and your husband or your designee up until the young man feels comfortable with going with mom alone if he does.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you asking the court for child support from Miss Kennedy?
I mean,
I'm willing to pay.
Okay. And are we just asking that that be set at minimum wage?
yes.
Okay. And we know she's employed, but we don't know what she makes or anything like that based on what she told us today, but we're fine with minimum wage child support. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we're fine with that starting at the beginning of next month.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you asking that you and your husband be named the sole managing conservators of this child?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that the order basically that was ordered back in April 30th of 2010 continue with all of its provisions except for starting child support and Miss Kennedy being able to see the child supervised and as agreed by you and your husband.
Yes, sir.
And do you believe that that is in TDK's best interest?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to approve that and order that today so that we can have that order and be able to take care of school and health insurance and things of that nature?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How is the young man covered on health insurance currently?
I'm not sure
Okay.
because I don't know what Bobby had on him.
Okay. But it would be our understanding that he could possibly receive benefits through his father. Is that correct? His father was in the military and
Yes.
things of that nature. So
Yes.
he should be able to, up until a certain age, still receive benefits from his dad and
Mhm.
things of that nature.
Yes.
And so we're hoping that that will be possible, but if not, either through y'all or through the state of Texas, whatever we can do.
Right.
Okay. Are you asking that anything that's uncovered, if there is anything, be split 50-50 between y'all and Miss Kennedy? Any uncovered medical bills, things of that nature?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, I believe I'll pass this witness.
Ms. Kennedy, you're representing yourself. You may ask questions of the witness if you desire. You're not required to, but you may ask her questions if you want to.
I agree with the acts, just as long as I get visitation. And I believe if you have a child, you should pay for them. So, I mean, I agree with everything.
Okay. You don't have any questions of her?
No,
then?
sir.
Okay. All
No,
right.
sir.
Call your next witness.
I'll call Jesse Williams, Your Honor.
And also, sir, will you raise your hand and be sworn? Do you swear or affirm that your testimony will also be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Sir.
May lower your hand, may proceed, Mr.
Did you state
Everson.
your name for the court?
Jesse Williams.
And Mr. Williams, you've been present in my office and could hear all of my questions of your wife.
Yes, sir.
And could you also hear all of her answers?
Yes.
And if I asked you those exact same questions, would you give the exact same answers to those questions? And are you joining in her request for the court to approve this agreement that we've now reached with Ms. Kennedy this morning and grant you and your wife sole custody of TDK?
Yes, sir.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Kennedy, any questions of this witness?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, anything further, Mr. Alverston?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, the court finds that it is in the best interest of the child to appoint the petitioners as the permanent managing servitor of the child. The respondent, Ms. Jessica Kennedy, is appointed possessory conservator. You shall have access to and visitation with the child as at all times reasonable, at all reasonable times and places as may be agreed by the parties. At the initial visitation, it will be supervised until such time as the child and she feel comfortable being together without supervision. Ms. Kennedy, if I set your support based on minimum wage, it would be about $220 a month. Is that
That's
agreeable?
fine.
Okay. I will set child support at $220.
Yes, sir.
First payment due and payable. Let's see. Let's make it June 1st. Like payment on the first day of each month thereafter until the child is otherwise emancipated or other order of the court.
Yes, sir.
Insofar as medical, we will ask the petitioners or require the petitioners to continue to care for insurance if there is any on the child.
Judge, you're cutting out a little bit. Can you repeat that part?
I will ask the petitioners to continue to carry insurance on the child. Any medical bills not covered by insurance must be divided equally between the petitioners and the child. Anything further?
Judge, I just want to be clear, you were breaking up a little bit, but I believe you said you were requiring my clients to carry the health insurance unless the father's medical benefits carry over, and then anything uncovered would be split 50-50.
Correct. That's correct.
Then nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Anything further, Ms. Kennedy?
No, sir.
Okay. That'll be the order of the court. I'll sign those orders when I receive them from Mr. Everson. Parties to this case are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
They sign off.
Thank y'all. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Ms. Kennedy, you may sign.
Sign?
You want me to sign you off?
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, my bad. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right. Which case do you want to hear next? Does it
Well,
matter?
Judge, I've got the Watley divorce. Mr. Watley is here. He's not actually my client. Miss Watley apparently is running a little bit late, but I could do that one through him, and then if she shows up, go from there. We can wait a little bit. My other client's running late also, Your Honor. Had a car issue this morning, had to get a ride.
Okay, well, let's see. I'd rather get your client there in the Watley case.
Okay.
You think it's going to be very long?
Yeah, well, I know Miss Katie actually just spoke with her and she's supposed to be on her way. So I would assume she'd be here any minute.